Gaming Bolt presents 15 most evil PS4 trophies and Xbox One achievements that will make you question your humanity. Trophies and achievements have become a pretty fundamental part of the way that we play video games, at least for PlayStation and Xbox gamers. So much so that we don't even give them too much thought anymore, at least not as much as we used to about a decade ago. Some trophies and achievements though stick out in memory for one reason or another. In this feature, we're going to take a look at 15 trophies that we remember because of the evil things they made us do to get them. Without further ado, let's begin. Batman: Arkham Asylum Remaster. Party Pooper. Near the end of Arkham Asylum, as Batman is walking into the Joker's party, there is a section where he enters a corridor lined with the Joker's thugs. While it is completely possible for the players to not engage them in combat and just walk past them, the Party Pooper trophy requires you to beat all of them up. Of course, even if we look past the fact that the corridor is literally brimming with a ridiculous amount of these things, the fact that they were just standing there doing nothing wrong and minding their own business paints the Caped Crusader in a pretty bad light. Friday the 13th. Chad is a dick. When you're being hunted by a murderous, psychopathic killer, it's every man for himself, and this achievement puts a special highlight on that sort of thinking. To get this particular trophy or achievement, players have to escape on a boat alone and leave one of their still alive team members behind. Not only is the name of the achievement fitting then, it's also kind of funny, though some players might argue that any achievement that encourages players to screw over their teammates is a poorly designed one. Grand Theft Auto 5: Altruistic Acolyte. Grand Theft Auto 5 is not a game for those who are easily disturbed, and it's obviously full of achievements and trophies that encourage players to commit heinous in-game acts. But this one takes the cake for sure. To get this trophy, players have to deliver an unsuspecting victim to the Altruist cult, which is a cult based in Los Santos that participates in some pretty violent and malevolent activities. Of course, finding new ways to kill and torture people is kind of the reason we play GTA 5 anyway, so maybe it's not all that bad. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Wishing Well. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons was a wonderful, emotional experience, but this achievement straight up encourages the player to act like a dick. In the very opening chapter of the game, players will come across a girl playing with a basketball. Players, of course, have the option to interact with the ball, and to get this achievement, they have to pick it up and throw it into a well. So what if the little girl ends up crying a well of her own? It's all about that gamer score. Skyrim Special Edition: Oblivion Walker. Trophies and achievements in Skyrim are usually pretty easy to unlock, but Oblivion Walker has to be one of the toughest ones that we have ever come across. The sheer number of things you have to do alone is pretty daunting. The trophy requires you to collect 15 Daedric artifacts, most of which have their own dedicated quests, and some of which are even missable. The stuff you end up doing while collecting these artifacts, from murdering innocents to sacrificing people, is also, how do we say this, a little morally ambiguous. Slime Rancher: You Monster. Slime Rancher may not be a very well-known game, but it's actually a lot of fun when you get to play in it. To get the You Monster achievement, players have to do something pretty horrific. You basically have to burn a chickadee alive. Players have to pick up the little chick, chuck it into the incinerator, and watch it burn to death, and the achievement's yours. Assassin's Creed Syndicate: What is wrong with you? Herding animals to unlock trophies and achievements seems to be a bit of a theme here. Horse-pulled carriages were pretty common in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and there were quite a lot of sections in the game that featured chases and combats using these carriages. To unlock this particular trophy, players had to flip 5 carriages by shooting the horses pulling them. Landing headshots on the horses during chase missions was usually a good way to get this trophy. Mafia 3: Bon Appetit. Crocodiles were quite common in the swampy marshlands of Mafia 3's New Orleans, and as such, swimming in the game's rivers and lakes never felt safe. On the flip side, the game allowed players to have some fun with it too. If you ever came across a dead body in Mafia 3, after having killed a bunch of people, all you have to do is pick up the corpse, throw it into the water, and watch a crocodile feed on its flesh, and you'll unlock this grisly trophy. Prey: Suicide by Proxy. January is a pretty important and helpful character in 2017's Prey. A reprogrammed operator, January guides the player throughout the game and is quite instrumental for a number of activities. When you first meet January though, and shoot it, thus killing it, you get the trophy Suicide by Proxy. Just make sure you save your game before you do it though. Infamous Second Son, Rebellion. Infamous's karma system isn't the most realistic depiction of moral choices in video games, but it can lead to quite a lot of fun moments in the game. If you're the kind of person who likes to play as the bad guy, and if by the time you finish Second Son you have any level of evil or red karma, you instantly unlock the Rebellion trophy. Considering how you have to act like a monumental dick throughout your playthrough to finish with evil karma, we're pretty sure this trophy deserves a place on this list. Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Everything is permitted. This one is actually a pretty cool achievement. The Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games have always been considered heavily influenced by the Assassin's Creed series, in more ways than one, and this seems like a direct homage to the Ubisoft franchise. To unlock this achievement, you have to fight against an assassin unit, and then, in the end, rather than killing them, you have to shame them. Does that make Talion a Templar then? Far Cry Primal: Tears of Shame. Taming and befriending animals and beasts was a pretty major gameplay feature in Far Cry Primal. But the game also rewarded players with an achievement or trophy for being a total dick to their furry friends. To unlock the Tears of Shame achievement, players had to kill one of their tamed beasts, watch them bleed out, and then skin them. One can only imagine the look of betrayal on the poor animals' faces. BattleBlock Theater: Traitor. This achievement is actually pretty similar to the one in Friday the 13th that we already mentioned, in that it encourages players to screw over their teammates. Except that this specific achievement only unlocks once players have killed their teammate 50 freaking times, so it's actually 50 times worse than the Friday the 13th achievement. On the other hand, you can always go into local co-op alone with a second controller and just keep killing your second character. Hotline Miami: Nigel Lowry. Hotline Miami was a grisly, brutal, amazing game that was literally dripping with blood and bits, so by comparison, the stuff you have to do to unlock this particular trophy is actually pretty tame. All you have to do is use a downed but alive enemy as a human shield in the face of oncoming bullets. The way I see it, that person would have died sooner or later anyway, so you're just speeding it along. This trophy is actually also a nod to Nigel Lowry, who works at Devolver Digital, Hotline Miami's publisher. Mortal Kombat X: Straight Power. Fatalities and Mortal Kombat go hand in hand, so chances are, if you've played enough of Mortal Kombat X, you probably have this trophy already. All you have to do is perform 100 fatalities in total. Sounds easy, right? Given the very nature of Mortal Kombat and its brutal fatalities, this is another trophy and achievement that seems slightly less evil in context, but just think of all those cracked skulls.
And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.